Just let me know when we are live. Okay, Anurag.
Uh, Adil, we are live now.
Hello and good morning to all. I'm your coordinator for this event, and my name is Adil Sheikh. I'm currently the advisor of IEEE-SB Acropolis Institute of Technology and Research. Some of you might be IEEE members, and others of you might be so. So let me introduce you to IEEE. IEEE stands for Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. It is world's largest technical professional organization, which is dedicated to advancing technology for benefit of humanity. IEEE is led by diverse body of volunteers all around the world, where professionals from variety of disciplines work for the advancement of world and humanity through technical, social, and community development. And being a part of IEEE is a matter of pride for all of us, the volunteers around the world. Today, we are here to know about the special branch of IEEE, EPICS, which stands for Engineers Project in Community Service. EPICS facilitates in increasing a world where engineering education is conducted to community service. It provides funding, support, mentoring, and platform for engineer project for community improvement. But to know it in details, the hidden aspects of it, and the variety of opportunities it offers, we have scheduled an event today, and we have a speaker for this event, Mr. Dinesh Kumar Singh. He is the Group Director in Digital Project Initiative at TCS Research and Innovative Group. And this initiative was recognized as Top 20 Mission Driven Social Impact Innovation in India by Government of India. He is the member of Computer Society of India and Open Web Application Security Project. He has been associated with IEEE. He is a design thinking mentor and certified cloud digital leader. He is a social entrepreneur, mentor, author with several books, patents, and papers published. With his 25 years of research and innovation experience in telecom and social mentorship digital industry, his achievements and work speaks for itself, and his dynamic contribution to the society makes him an inspiration for others. We are very pleased and honored to have him as our great speaker today. Sir, we are thankful to you and your for accepting our invitation on a short notice, and we welcome you today in the event. We are excited to hear you, and our audience are eager to know more about EPICS. So, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Adil. I hope I am audible and my screen is visible also.
Yes, sir, perfectly.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Yeah. So basically, what we will do, we will just walk through. So as Adil introduced about IEEE, you know, so IEEE is a body of engineers, and earlier it started with electrical and electronics engineer. If you know, there is a industry 1.0, 2.0, and so on. Correct. So it means the engineers, the creators came together and then wanted to have a body, and the purpose of the body was to kind of keep renewing the knowledge, and that's how the IEEE started, and it's a foundation, and it is the largest in the world. But now it touches all sort of the streams, including the computers, AI, ethics is also like, and the society is also like a one of the streams of the IEEE. IEEE offers multiple courses, continuous learning programs, and so on. Crux is that if you are an engineer and you want to tap the ocean of the knowledge, becoming an IEEE member will provide that access to you. So it's like we are an island in the big earth, and similarly, an engineer in this entire world, of professions, and that is where IEEE is one of the forum. There are other bodies also, such as IETF, ACM, and India we have got CSI, Computer Society of India, and so on. My suggestion would be that become a member of one of these bodies and carry it forward as long as you can go, because in your work somewhere this will provide two things to you: an access to what is happening in the world. It's like all interconnected world. And number two, network. So in the for the success in the career, you need three things. You need to be aggressive. You need to have that passion for whatever you do. That's the number one. I mean, nobody can give it to you. Number two, keep learning. You know, continuous learning or lifelong learning is the only way to ensure that you achieve whatever you dream or the passion you have. And the third is the ecosystem. That ecosystem is known as the network also. Because even if you have these two, but if you do not have the third one, the network, chances are that you may still remain uh, within some miles or the meters of your dream. So these three things are very important. Today I'm going to touch one of the initiatives of the IEEE. It is called Engineering Projects in Community Services. And this concept evolved at Purdue University, and Purdue kind of imbibed this into their students. And the objective was that, hey, engineers, when you are learning, are you applying your learning? You know, so that is a project-based learning, or we call services-based learning. So fundamental of EPICS in IEEE is that services-based learning, but offered through IEEE to its members and maybe non-members also. Okay, so it's a like a competition. It's a global competition where you submit your projects, and then there is a rubric on which the project gets evaluated. I was ex-member of EPICS in IEEE. I was there for last 3 years on EPICS body, and I was part of the project subcommittee to evaluate the projects. You know, so we are going to see like what is EPICS in IEEE, what it does in maybe another 20-25 minutes, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions there. So what is EPICS in IEEE? IEEE Foundations, it is a program. It was a signature program. And from this year, it has retired from signature program to be an independent program. You know, that supports projects, program which advance technology to benefit the humanity. This is the keyword. And this keyword is not only for EPICS in IEEE, but it is for you if you want to work in a company, you want to start your own startup, you know, and or you want to maybe submit a project, you know, just to get awards, recognition, or satisfied your expectation and hunger to do something for society. So it may be catered to the education, access and ability, environment, and human services. So your project can be any related to any of these areas. And the see the statement, the vision to change the world, because generally engineers are supposed to be techies. You know, if they are mechanical engineer, they would go and maybe create some kind of a new automobile, you know, new way of machines, you know, or maybe if it is electrical engineer, how to save the power into large battery, the way like Elon Musk kind of envision. No, I can create a large battery bank to support entire city. People laughed, but he had a vision and he did it. And same thing with other aspect. So here it brings these three aspects together. Students work on their academic projects, but can the academic projects be focused or related to community? Then IEEE can also support. And IEEE can support through the mentoring and maybe some kind of a funding also. So it has supported and deployed projects in 157, and 11,000 plus pre-university and university students have participated. And the vision is that engineering education is intimately connected to community service. You are lucky that When you are going to work on a project, you are being also told now that, hey, just don't make it a technology focused. Technology focus is inside the body, correct? It's like internal organs, but make it business focused, and that business could be for profit, or it could be not for profit, or it could be for society. So people, technologists will come and appreciate the way you have designed the product using technology, but everybody else, the companies, the campus, or the job givers, or maybe your investors will appreciate what you are doing and why you are doing. So that's where linking with the community will kind of give a bonus. So impacting student education through service learning. The concept here is very important, service learning. You know, so we know that world face significant challenges. There are still, when we have our breakfast, and that whatever we eat in that whatever 15-20 minutes, and maybe whatever 250 gram or 300 gram of the food at the breakfast table, what we call as a breakfast. What we have to remember that for a billion population, that breakfast is the daily meal. That's one time meal, daily meal. What can be done? And then the other side, there is a food wastage. 20% of the food just get wasted when it is picked up from the farm and it lands in your home. Between these two start and end point, 20% food is wasted. Can you create an innovation to reduce this 20% to 18, maybe 15, maybe 10? No expectation to make it zero, but at least that. And then that will go back to the network, the supply chain, and it will help somebody. And that is where the concept of, like, remote villages in Asia, bustling cities in Latin America, these are the problem areas. There are rural problem, there are urban problem. So engineering project in community service facilitates the change now and future generation by creating a world. Read this line. Engineering education is intimately connected to community services. So this concept was applied for the school kids also. And the school kids in Mumbai city were asked to apply this concept. And what did they do? They, because there is so much thrust on the hygiene and cleanliness, the kids came together and there was a garbage dumping ground near their school. It's a local school, a municipal school. And then kids look at that, this garbage is bad because it doesn't bring structure of the cleanliness. This garbage is bad for us because we are studying there for 6 to 8 hours in the school, in the vicinity of the garbage. And what can be done? And then the kids divided themselves into 4 teams. One team which will go and study the entire area. It's like a survey to understand that what are the sources of the garbage, what type of garbages are getting coming and getting dumped, and from which area the more garbage is coming. That kind of a thing. The team 2 focused on kind of a understanding that is the garbage less or more today, or what is the threshold level of the garbage, kind of understanding garbage itself. The third team looked at the what could be technology to monitor the garbage. Can it be a camera taking the photographs at a particular time, or maybe some kind of a sensor? And I'm talking about the school kids. And the fourth team looked at that, how to pipeline all this together. What is pipeline? We call DevOps. Correct? So look at what was the problem. Garbage was a problem. Nobody wanted a garbage in their neighborhood. And that is where the kids are thinking there, creating a service of garbage monitoring. Friends, if 8, 9, 10 standard kids can do, engineers can always do. And that's what about linking the education to the community service. And this is exactly what about EPICS. So advancement of the education, and of course when advancement goes in, basically we are looking at unique service learning approach for education. It also include people working together. I give example of this kids working together, correct? Just imagine kids coming together, talking to each other, 8, 9, 10 standard, and they saying, okay, these 4 people, you will do this. This another 4 people will do this, and so on. This is the skill also getting consciously built, working together. Skills such as communication and collaboration. The kids who were good at kind of exploring the item became part of the survey team. So it's another example. When I interview the engineers for hiring, I go into deeper. What you did, what you did, what you did, what you did. And ultimately, when I get to the crux, out of the 100 people I interview, only 10 can hold the ground, telling that I did this. The rest of the people float there, and that is most of the answer will that, sir, I was part of the documentation team. That's not really the engineering work. It is, but you should automate as much as possible about documentation. So even communication and collaboration is important. Creativity is important. So then EPICS kind of a drive that kind of a aspect also. It's not only engineering, technology. Again, I repeat, technology बाद में आता है. First goal, objective, why, then creating that impact, and then the entire journey, the journey which is being talked about it, and the example which I gave, and then how you did it. Oh, last ka 20-30%. And then of course, did it work, not work, measurable impact, that is important. So 157 project approved since 2009. Look at the rigor which goes into reviewing and approving the project. So for example, we had 20 projects in the previous season last year, and out of that, only 2 projects could make to the final. And out of that, 1 project got the good funding, the other got the supporting funding. So because it is a global kind of a competition, it's not a competition, but evaluation takes that kind of a form. 8,000 plus students got impacted. There are so many volunteers, these are community people who got impacted. And this much are the funding which has gone into. Look at the enormity of the funding which is available. Of course, their funding structure has certain guidelines and regulation for the country specific, because money exchange has got its own challenges, and funding doesn't come directly, it comes via all the IEEE framework, the hierarchy, country level, region level, country level, and so on. But the crux is that there are already projects and there are already students who are participating. Have your project gone into there, in that list, in that competition? Are you one of those 8,000? And if not, then question is why not? So when I see so less entries from India and Asia region, that's a question. Why not? Maybe it's a less awareness. Maybe we are just want to complete our project as a curriculum requirement. So I think that is where we need to get aware, and we need to think and grab this opportunity. So core initiative, fulfill the IEEE's core purpose is fostering technology innovation. This is IEEE. IEEE is not only an international body, but I means for the innovation. Because when innovation is happening in one part of the world, so we were working on maybe IoT. What are the IoT innovation happening? And innovation means invention and innovation both. So looking at who is filing the patents in IoT, what kind of a patents are being filed, and we say that a large number of Chinese universities are filing the patents. Large number, amazing numbers. So there used to be like likes of Nokia, Qualcomm, IBM, who were the leaders in patent filing. but the global scenario is changing. Where are we as a country, or maybe as an academic, or maybe as an individual? Who am I? What is my existence? What I am doing here? So IEEE score is an innovation and excellence for humanity. Maybe inventing the phone, inventing the travel to reduce the time, inventing the penicillin, inventing the X-ray, and many other things. So crux is that maybe like innovation and humanity both goes together, and this is exactly where EPICS comes in. And the funding what EPICS goes by the body, because they see that, oh, through you are achieving two objects. One, you are touching the minds of the students, because they are the future creators, future innovator, and the future engineers. And number two, you are touching the lives of community, and that's why they would give the funding. It means good quality of the project, maybe the good support to the student and the community, and this also means attract a lot of funding, and this become a circle. So a lot of things, the students, the good projects are actually given sometime additional grant to go and present in various conferences and sessions. Of course, it came down during the COVID, but we had the virtual presences, correct? Uh, Different kind of a technologies. So we will see some of the coming out, like such as extended reality, correct? How to use the extended reality to maybe enrich the learning of the students. STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, correct? uh, these are the kind of things, and where the this is one of our project subcommittee chair, and the kids participating into that across the world. These are various conferences where people go and talk about and attract the student, like global humanitarian technology conference. Your paper or your project get presented there. Rising stars conferences, you know Sai is there, and so many other things. These are all opportunity. So funding is just one part of it. It may be there, may not be there. But look at the global experience and availability is there. When you are going to complete your education, you are going for higher education, you are going to the maybe industry, or you may be going and starting your own entrepreneur or a company. But then this exposure always gets embedded on your resume, career, and it helps. Look at that as kind of as an opportunity. So funding generally is between 100, 100, not 1000, 100 to $10,000. It could be one or maybe more years. But then lot of things goes in reviewing it, and for India it is bit challenging because of certain regulations which are there. But opportunity for funding is there. Multi-year projects are approved. Any IEEE member of section can also apply, including the faculty. No deadlines, projects are accepted year round and must have student involved, K2, 12 or college or PUC, and so on. And then it brings like a partnership. There has to be partnership of an NGO or maybe community, so that the impact is not documented, but it's a real impact, observe impact kind of a thing, because that is get seriously done, and falsification is treated with high punishment, for the institute, region, society section also. So these are the various universities with which EPICS in IEEE has been working. They have the standing MOUs with that, and we are planning to see, are working towards to maybe one or two Indian universities also getting added to the list. The process is lengthy. If an university has got service based learning as a like offering, and they want to go for that, then the process gets started, but lot of interaction evaluation goes before this kind of MOUs are established. So some of the projects which are highlighted here about is like unpurified water storage bucket, how to filter the water for the community services. This is a one cool project. I mean, now I see it in many colleges student doing as part of their academic project. But going and doing in the community is more important, or maybe making your own small farm and doing it something different. So crux is that it's not only just do a like a lab prototype kind of a thing. Go and try out the the actual field pilot or POC is important to learn about it. There are many other projects. It could be related to the movements, robotic machine, related to the disabilities. This is like a buddy dog, kind of the canine robotic leg for the buddy dog. Flood sensors for a city, uh, and so on. Work student going and working in the disaster relief for the communication purpose. When the disaster happen, how they can create maybe fast communication network in a very less time, and so on. So these are certain kind of projects which are example available, which you can attempt. And then the project can be across the world, like you see like some dot in India also. There are few projects related to education sector. So this is the older committee. I was one of the member, and some of the members have timed out. A committee, a member can be there for maximum 3 years, and then you keep rotating. Stephanie is the current chair. Samarth was is just immediate past chair, and then you can propose your project to the body. So message to the students: if you have an idea, don't be afraid. Submit the proposal. Already doing a project and need help, ask for help. All ideas and proposal get constructive feedback. Good or bad are areas for improvement. You're free to collaborate with students from other school, means that the terminology changes in North America and here, and then other student branches also, but at least one or some member should be IEEE member. Young practitioners, faculties, if you're open to maintaining someone, you are happy to connect you to those who need help. If your student branch or affinity group would like to partner with EPICS, reach out to us. Be a facilitator in a student-led project locally in your section committee. So these are the people, mentor, faculty from your academics and other areas also. Thank you very much. That's in brief from EPICS in IEEE. I'm happy to answer any questions. Adil and Anurag, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Like that was a very really amazing and informative presentation, I would say. Like a lot of dimensions about IEEE and how can we look forward to IEEE, the epics in IEEE, and the proposals. How should it be? You covered it really really well. But I have some questions from my side, sir. I would like you to answer them. Sir, as you know, like IEEE has many programs such as SPECS, STEP, STEM, and EPICS also. So sometimes there is a very thin boundary between the projects of these programs. Sometimes the projects can overlap and lie in several categories together. So does this affect the working and implementation of the projects,
So I
or does
think
it?
you have a very good observation. That's true, and we internally also keep debating sometime. But what happens that when you have a body and you want to do something, then you, with an objective in mind, you start something, correct? And when you go in a direction and you find maybe new idea and new light, and then you start something else. So site and all this initiative which you talked about, the site impact is completely focused on the community. STEM is on the more side on the education, learning kind of a thing, correct? But if you look at, there is a thin bridge also in between these two. Whenever you do a learning, that learning can be applied. Your learning may be science, you are learning technology, you are learning mathematics, or you are learning maybe English, communication. But the question is that I have learned and what I should do. You can do a maybe in that box, you can do some kind of experimentation and trials. So that's one box. And another box is that the work which is happening on the community side, the site, But somebody thought that there are different in students. They are not learning STEM, but they can be learning anything. But they should also learn to do something problem solving. So if you look at one is top down is completely community, one is top down completely education. But another is a service based learning. Its only focus is problem solving. Correct? And this is where even though there is overlap, okay, everybody has got an independent objective and they are going deeper. So on a land, on a soil, you see a mango tree, you see a neem tree, and you see a flower plants. At the end, they are all plant, correct? Maybe the biological things are same, but they are for three different purposes. So similarly here, this initiative of a different purpose. The purpose of EPICS in IEEE is in its definition itself. You should, whatever you do, it should be solving a problem. And when you are solving that problem, why it should be a community problem. And that's where like this comes. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, surely it answered my question. Answer another question is like, how do companies such as TCS do they work with IEEE in any sort for any project or any implementation of any idea? Do companies work directly with IEEE organization?
Okay, so one disclaimer before that. My EPICSINIEE IEEE role or my any other IEEE body role is independent of my day job. So my day job at TCS is different than my work at IEEE. So they are two different things. It is professional body, like you are a member, I am a member, we both are member there, and that is where I am contributing to my professional body. But when it comes to that, whether TCS or any other company work with IEEE, so of course, depending upon the common themes, the companies come together and work. So, for example, when as part of the STEM education, if TCS is also has got a STEM education initiative, and suppose IEEE is also supporting that, and if there is an overlap, generally they would come together and work. But then there is no hard and fast rule in that. It depends upon the opportunity, geography where they are working together, then collaboration is natural.
All right, sir. And sir, I have one more question in my mind. Like, as you said, the idea for any proposal should make an impact, should make a considerable impact on the world and people. But it is also possible that some ideas may be small scaled. Like some ideas could be big scaled, which making an impact on large population. Some could be very small scaled, but really important also. So, what are the chances that all the ideas get, whether small or big, get selected for funding?
All ideas are welcome. Now, it's not the idea is small or big. I am not sure what is the definition of small and big. If your definition is by the time it takes to implement. Okay. So let's take an example, COVID. So COVID, uh, how to reduce the spread? Because when COVID spread, the community gets impacted. And when there is a COVID, large number of COVID cases in a community, automatically it gets in lockdown mode and kind of a thing, restriction and all those things. And when certain area is in the restriction, everything comes to a standstill, correct? People cannot go out for the jobs, their livelihood is impacted. People may not get in, the supplies will get impacted, and so on, correct? So we, if you pick up a COVID as a problem and then go and see what you are going to do to solve that problem, what is the real problem you are solving? The problem may not be big, problem thing can be big, you pick up one slice of it. You restrict it to a small geography. You restrict it to a small time bound, time duration. That is okay. But the question is that is it theory or is it practical? The aspect is on the practical side. Otherwise, if there is no benefit to community or if there is no impact to community, then it doesn't fall in the category of the community services project, correct? It is a project, it is a product, it is an offering, but then it's not. It may be relevant to some other requirement. So impact is important. So you did you see that picture of one dog, the handicapped dog with some kind of a robotic leg? Now look at what is the impact there. One dog is an impact. One pet is an impact. Correct? But then people may look at, oh, I have impacted one animal. No, you have impacted one animal, but you have created a template to magnify it. No? So if you can do that also as a small idea, that is also welcome.
Okay, sir. Sir, we have one question from the audience. What points should be taken care of while applying for funding? Like to find a good proposal form, how should it look like, and what points should be taken care of?
So in my last slide, there was a page where it. Let me see if I can share it again. Just a minute. So where you can go and get the details. Just a minute. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
So go to this website. Take a note of this website and email ID. When you go to the website, you will get a lot of information about the project template, some kind of a question answer, and all those things. So go and apply for all project proposal in that format, and all those sections. It actually talk about what is your project objective, what is the project title. You describe the project, who will be your community, you'll be working with, who will be your partner, what is the outline of your project, what will be the cost items, will you inquire some kind of hardware, what items will be required at what approximate rate. So kind of a creating a budget, what will be the final solution look like, how will you do the pilot, and how will you test the impact measurements, like will it be that number of people who will get electricity for these many duration, correct, or whatever. So some kind of a measurement you need to define and some value. If you have all this section, I think your project is good there.
Okay, sir. I think we have asked you all the questions from our side. Should we present the vote of thanks, sir, before wrapping up the session?
Yeah, that should be fine with me.
All right, sir. Just a second. So, sir, I would like to present this vote of thanks, being the coordinator for this event. Sir, IEEE-SB Acropolis Institute of Technology and Research felt really pleasure to invite you and have you with us today, because all the things you shared with us were so meaningful, and the time we spent here was worth it. And your expertise is so magnificent that we can learn a lot of things from you. So, thank you so much, sir, for coming over here and guiding us on this topic. And at the end, I would also like to thank my team, IEEE-SB, who helped in executing and planning this event. And also, special thanks to the Adil sir, who did the anchoring for this event. And a very big thanks to the audience for being here. So, thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone, for being present here. Have a great day, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.